Hello there. My name is Comic Book Ant, and today we are going to talk about why I stopped printing my comics through Mixam. I think that's the right pronunciation. You know, for the purpose of this video. I mean, I'm leaving them. Who fucking cares, right? Okay. So, what is Mixam? Mixam is a paper printing, there's a printing company, and they do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of different stuff. Sometimes the website doesn't fucking work. Not a good look. Not a good look, Mixam. I ain't gonna lie. Trying to give y'all some credit. Okay, no. Okay, that's a little confusing that you click up here and it has to be down here. Okay, cool. But it's a little weird. All right, so they got like Booklets magazine, they say manga, business cards, postcards, hardcovers, comic books, flyers, art prints, etc. Essentially, this is professional printing. I mean, whatever, business printing, you know, like that's what a lot of this stuff is centered around. And I first started printing with Mixam October of last year, or 2021. So yeah, October last year. So I first started with them, and it was, I started with the small print. So I'm gonna tell you at least what I do when I work with a new printer is I wanted to have the best settings available. I didn't think of ordering like the little book. There's like a little book that has all the different kind of paper types. I'm not that bright. I didn't know about that shit. I was just starting out. But I wanted to see differently. There's an uncoated cover, the coated cover, the gloss, the laminate, the interior pages, the paperweight, all the stuff. I want to do it, so I did a bunch of small runs of like 50 copies, 75 copies, and it ran me about $3 to $3.50. So let's start with this. Mixam is fucking expensive. You know, let's start there. Let's keep it a buck. They are fucking expensive. I'm gonna go look, and this is a year ago, so this is before the paper shortage. 50 comic books, $185. So that's like that's like $3 for a cover. Like, that's a lot. I mean, that's not cheap. And the thing you always have to keep in mind is, how do I resell this? I think ideally you would want to be able to sell a comic book for $5 in a tight spot. You're at a con, you're selling it for whatever, but you say, okay, person has $5. Hey, I'll sell you this for $5. How about that? Because $5 is nice and easy. One, that's about the price of a floppy for the big two, I believe. I don't buy the big two that often. Listen, I don't buy the big two. I certainly don't buy floppies. If I'm buying some, I'm buying a digital, I'm buying a trade. But you want to get the price down at $3, and I was selling comic books for $5 because I was trying to be competitive, and I was making probably like a dollar profit a comic book. This was 9 months ago. I was a baby. I was baby. I still am baby. So this isn't crazy expensive. And then, you know, this isn't crazy expensive. This is a small order. And let's talk about, you can see right here, you know, some different settings, stuff like that. So the art prints, the art prints are so fucking good. I'll get back to that. I'll get back to the art prints. So let's get this out of the way. Mixam makes fantastic comics. If you had to tell me, regardless of the price, I had to make the best quality print, like I was banking on what could be the best quality print. I haven't been to a lot of them. I've only been to 2, but I've held a lot of comic books. Mixams are the best. I have one right here. Decay issue 2. Hey, see that gloss? Decay issue 2. This is a really good. Let me just get this shit out the way. This is really not. You know, like I said, we're learning here. It's okay. This is a good quality print. I mean, the light is like kind of bright. It's kind of glossy, but when you feel the actual quality of it, it feels good. And what having a really high quality print allows you to do, some beautiful colors. The glare is not helping here, but just take my word. I mean, y'all, hey, listen, you know, how about you buy a copy? You'll know. You'll know what it feels like. DecayComicBook.com, baby. But the colors here, shut these fucking blinds. You can't tell, but the colors here are beautiful. This is a great print. This is a fantastic print. And what you can do, if you have to price it higher, what I did, I would give it to the person. Here you go. You want a comic book? That's me and Pops. Rest in peace, Pops. What I would do is hand the person the comic book, right? You hand them the comic book, and what does that do? That one, it psychologically, they don't want to put it down. I heard Chris Moses say that. He's a pretty smart guy. That's what he says. I believe him. Also, what you can say is like, hey, feel that print quality. Feel that print quality. And you can say, listen, it's more expensive than the big two, but it's going to last longer, which is honestly true. You're paying for quality. If you were going for the best, the very best, the highest quality print possible, that's what you're shooting for, Mixam is a good choice. But here's the problem. I said plenty nice things. They got a great interface. The customer service is great. Mixam is a very good service, but not when it comes to comic books. They messed up two of my orders. Two of my orders were messed up. Two of my orders had tangible mess ups. And keep in mind, I've only been making comic books for a year, and I probably did like 10 runs. Maybe, yeah, probably 10, probably less than that, honestly. Probably less than that. Because a lot of these are, I had 12 orders. 1 is a print, 2 is a print, 3 is a print. So I had 9 orders. Most of these are prints. And they messed up 2 of them. 2 out of 9. Or 7 out of 9. Damn. Look, I make comics. I don't make math. That's not great, right? And the customer service was fantastic. For the first order they messed up, they reprinted everything. They didn't make me reship them. Now, here's a little thing. A business is always going to do something that is the most beneficial for them. Reshipping 150 comic books or 300 comic books, you got to pay for shipping. They have to pay for shipping. Then they have to pay for the shipping back to you. So they're always going to prefer to give you like a credit or a percentage off, because then you're reinvesting the money. You know, they still take a loss, but as opposed of having to reprint you're going to reprint everything. If they can avoid a reprint, they will. And then it also, if they don't have to pay for the shipping, because then you're just eating the money, right? You're just eating the money. At least that's how I would imagine, because like if you mess up an order and I have to pay for the shipping back, that's fucking crazy. I ain't gonna lie, that's pretty wild. That's not good customer service. So what was wrong? We don't have to get into what was wrong with them, but they were messed up. The customer service was good for both of them. The customer service was good for the second order they messed up, but they weren't trying to rectify it. Like they politely told me to go fuck myself, essentially. You know, every other time the customer service was great. Like one of the things I don't like about Mixam that is probably good is that, like let's say I have a PDF. So if you're doing variant covers, so I have 2 variant covers. So you're using the same pages. You're just printing it with a different cover, right? And it was a particular page on here that it was so dark that they had to brighten it up because of the print. Like the ink would be too much. The ink would make it way too much, or some technical shit. Look, some technical shit. Basically, one of the pages had higher contrast than the others, and they would message me and say, "Yo, you gotta fix this page." I'd be like, "No, y'all printed this exact comic book 5 times already. It's okay. It's good. Just print that shit." They really care. They're not gonna force them through, man. I had to twist. Essentially, why I stopped printing with them is that they did not want to print. They did not want to print something that I'd already printed before, like several times. They did not like. I'm like, yo, I've done this exact print before with y'all. They were like, we can't do it. We really suggest you would be advised. And again, this is the same PDF. These are the same pages as the other prints. And I'm like, all right, I gotta go somewhere else. I can't rely. So also the comics would be late a lot. There were a lot of delays. Now there is a paper shortage. There are supply chain issues. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. That kind of exacerbates the real problem. Was that Mixam has a very, like, the quality varies, and the quality doesn't vary. I mean, if they mess up, they mess up. The floor is pretty decent. It's a pretty decent floor. The floor is like good, and then the ceiling is like incredible. It's like touching a cloud. It's beautiful, and you would feel it, and you're like, all right, this feels different. But it's like every other issue. So, good is still good, right? And that's what I kind of meant when I said if I had to pick the best, if I had to get the best possible product, I think that comic book would come out of Mixam, because they make really great products, but there's too much variance. Why is there so much variance? It's because this is not a comic book company. This is a printer company. What do I mean by that? I do not know. I would imagine that with the indie comics boom, at least what I'll perceive to be a boom, with more people doing indie comics, with the popularity of platforms like Kickstarter, Zoop, Crowdfunder just came out, Indiegogo, etc. With these platforms getting more popular, there are probably people, they're more distribution. Just like with everything, just like with movies, just like with TV shows. When there are more distribution chains, you're going to get more stuff. I don't know if they really consider themselves a comic book company. I'm sure they'll be happy to take your money, but I think that variance comes from the fact that they don't primarily work in comics. They do a lot of other stuff, which is cool, but I think that's the problem. So essentially, I will wait for quality. You know what I'm saying? If you're telling me I have to wait more time, but I'm getting the highest possible quality print. I'm getting a high quality print. I'm getting paper that feels like a fucking cloud in the sky. It's silky and it's smooth. Then I'll wait for that. But you can't, I might get something that's just good, which is fine, but you also might mess my order up. And you can't be late and messed up, right? Like, if you show up to work late but you do a great job, they might not say something. If you show up late for work and you suck at your job, you're getting fired. And that's ultimately what it came to. It's too much variance. I could get the best comic ever, or I can get something that needs to be reprinted. And when they reprint something, if you're having supply chain issues and paper shortage, a reprint it's going to take longer. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to they might rush it, but that's not going to help at all. Like, and we live in an industry, our industry is about deadlines. We have cons. I have 2 cons next month. I have a festival after that. I have a con after that. I'm pretty much going to a con every month. Sometimes twice in a month. So I can plan around something being delayed. I can make contingencies for something being delayed. At the point where I have to make contingencies for something that's messed up, I'm going somewhere else, right? Because then what am I doing? If you're telling me, okay, it's gonna be a week late because of paper issues, what can you do? I'm not mad at that. Okay, I need to pivot. I need to do something else. When you're telling me, okay, it will be here in time from the con, and I get the copies and they're messed up, then what can I do? I can't. I'm fucked. I basically have to assume that the comics I'm going to receive are going to be messed up, or that's what I have to prepare for. And like I said, it's not worth the trouble at that point. What is the point? So that is ultimately why I stopped printing with them. Who am I printing with now? I'm with Comics Wellspring. Who has comics in their name, right? Everything they do is centered around comics. And again, it's not to say that a printing company, I have gotten an order from Comics Wellspring. The Mixam beats it. But guess what? I can depend on this level of printing every time, which is huge, which is massive. Like I said, I don't have a problem paying for quality, but I need that quality. And they're a lot more reasonably priced. They offer something I forgot to mention is that the Mixam bumped up its prices crazy once the paper shortage hit, and they weren't really offering bulk discounts. I mean, there were, but it wasn't substantial enough. I'm like, all right, so now I'm not even getting the save in bulk thing. I'm like, all right, we can't do this. Comics Wellspring does buy in bulk. Comics Wellspring does buy in bulk. So if we look at it, I mean, I'm looking at these metrics, and I'm just realizing this. The sweet spot right here. What this needs, what this tells me is the biggest jump. It jumps in 10 by 10 by 3 by 2 by 2. So this is negligible, right? Like this doesn't really, like 2%. That's not a huge jump. What I'm seeing is, man, this right here is that sweet spot, baby. That's that sweet spot. That 10%. You gotta think that's like a comic a free comic every 10 comics. That's pretty good. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going with Comics Wellspring because they deal with comics and their customer service is also fantastic, just like Mixam's. But that's why I'm going with them, because they are a comic company, and I feel like because they are a comic company, they are going to be able to do things, or they're going to be prepared to do things that Mixam doesn't have the infrastructure for. You can see here, you know, they have all kinds of goodies. We can get into this later: tablecloths, vinyls, canvas, flyers, trading cards, etc. This is made for Kickstarter. If you kickstart a comic book, Comics Wellspring is the way to go. They even have this thing, a comic ad. You can add an ad in your in your comic book, in the back of your comic book somewhere, and they'll give you a discount. And then you can also, if you mention them in your Kickstarter or add their banner at Kickstarter, you get like 10% off or some crazy shit like that. But look, if you think about it, that's a great deal, because most of a portion of your Kickstarter is going to go to Kickstarter, right? It's going to go to Kickstarter. It's going to go to the whoever processes the payments, their shipping. That would really mitigate that. Even if it's 5%, that means that pays Kickstarter, right? Like you're not even paying Kickstarter out of pocket, kind of just, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul, whatever that phrase is. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just got the Comics Wellspring, so maybe I'll make a video about why I'm leaving Comics Wellspring and going back to Mixam. Who knows? But right now, I will probably only print through, when I'm printing comics, through comic book websites, right? And then with Mixam, I mean, they make really good products. I'm still getting my prints through them. Their prints are incredible. it's like 30 pages. That's 20 pages. That's when they're like kind of iffy. But that one page, shit, they are undefeated. So this isn't a dragging. There have been some rumblings about some stuff, some rumors going on about Mixam that is super hush hush. Nobody's really giving information. This is not a rumors channel. That didn't have an effect on my decision. That might be something that is a factor to where I stop printing, prints with them. But until I get something concrete or people even specifically state what's going on, I'm just gonna ignore it because I can't live my life based off of rumors. That'd be crazy. That'd be absolutely crazy. So that is why I left Mixam as for my comic books. If you had a positive experience with Mixam, let me know. Let me know what printer you guys are using in the comments. And as always, like and share. And let's keep this train moving. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great time.